The velocity of flow remains constant at 60 meters per second through the impeller. Calculate the power input to the machine. B. The impeller diameters at the inlet and outlet, and the blade angle at the inlet. The suction is from an atmosphere at 100 kilopascals and 300 Kelvin, so which is absolute. Okay. So what I will do is actually I will try to write the TS diagram and corresponding velocity triangles other than the data. Let's look at it, the solution. So what is given? So if I take the given data, which is d2 by d1 is equal to 2, and my pressure ratio is equal to 4, n is equal to 12,000 rpm, and my q is 10 meter cube per second, and my compressor efficiency is 84%, and it is radial at the exit, that is my beta 2 is equal to 90 degrees, and it is entering at an angle, that is, if I take Vol1, that is your alpha 1 is equal to 90. So then corresponding velocity of the flow so remains constant, that is Vf1 is equal to Vf2, that remains constant at 60 meters per second. And my inlet pressure, that is P01, is 100 kilopascals, and P01 is equal to 300 Kelvin. This is what they given, and this being an air, I can take gamma is equal to 1.4. So what I'm supposed to find? So we are supposed to find A, the power input to the compressor, that is P, we call it as P. Then my diameters at the inlet and at the exit. And the third one is I have to find the corresponding blade angle at the inlet. Okay. If I try to put the TS diagram or HS diagram, it looks something like this. Okay, this is T, and this is my S, and if I have the pressures, the pressure lines are diverging, and if I execute the corresponding process, so this is an isentropic from 0, 1 to 0, 2 dash, and I do have an actual process going like this to 0, 2. So this is my P02 and this is my P01. This is about your TS diagram. So if I try to put the corresponding velocity triangle, if I want to put the velocity triangle, so this is my D2 and this is my D1. So this is outer diameter, this is my D1, and I do have a blade something like this. Fine, I do have a blade something like this. Fine. So I do have a blade something like this because it's radial at the exit. So let me draw the triangle. So this is my corresponding VR, and if I draw the corresponding V1, which is equal to Vf1, and this is my VR1, and I do have corresponding U1 in this direction, so that my VW1 is equal to 0, and this is rotating in clockwise direction. And at the exit, it's given that it is radially exiting. So I can write my VR2 to be like this, and the corresponding V2 will be like this. This is my V2, and this will be my corresponding U2, so that this is my beta 2, this is my alpha 2, this is my beta 1, this is my alpha 1. So whatever from the given thing, so I have written the corresponding velocity triangle and a TS diagram. Now, from the pressure ratio, let's try to calculate. See, what is pressure ratio? PR is equal to P02 by P01, which is given as 4. Fine. Now, for any isentropic process, for an isentropic process, we have this expression, that is T2 by T1 is equal to P2 by P1 whole to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma. So this is from the thermodynamic relations we have. Fine. Now, so T02 dash by T01 is equal to P02 by P01 whole to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma. Okay. Now, so this T02 dash by, so I need to find T02 dash is equal to P01. P02 by P01 is already 4, they are given. Right, then we'll substitute. This is P02 by P01 whole to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma. Now, let's try to substitute the values. Fine. So, what is my T01? It's given the numerical as 300 Kelvin into, this is 4 to the power of 1.4 minus 1 divided by 1.4. Now, if I calculate the values, so I may end up with T02 dash as 445.8 Kelvin. So, roughly around 446 degree Kelvin. So, this is the T02 dash. Now, what is my compressor efficiency or total to total efficiency? It is given by your isentropic compression, that is MCP into T02 dash minus T01 divided by MCP into T02 minus T01. So MCP just cancel out. I have this only in terms of temperatures if I substitute. So what is my compressor efficiency is given in the numerical as 0.84, which is equal to, just now we calculated the T02 dash, which is 445.8 minus 300 divided by T02 minus 300. So if I do the calculation, so from the calculator, T02 dash, it should be greater than your T02 dash. So T02 should be greater than your T02 dash. So it should be greater than 445.8. If I calculate, so I'm getting around 473.6 Kelvin. Fine, which is greater than your T02 dash. So that, why it is so? If you look at here actually, so this T02 dash on my TS diagram, because T02 dash corresponding to isentropic compression. What is the temperature we obtain after isentropic compression, and T02 is the temperature we obtain after the actual compression. Okay, this is about your T02 dash and T02. We got the temperatures. Now, what is the work done? So, actual work done is given by, from the Euler's equation, which is W is equal to VW2 into U2 minus VW1 into U1. But my VW1 is equal to 0. Also, I can write is equal to Cp into T02 minus T01, because in this numerical they have not given the value of your W. So we can calculate, because just now we calculated T02 and T01 is given. So for air, I can take Cp value to be, specific constant pressure to be around 1.005 kilojoules per kg degree Kelvin. Now let's substitute and calculate the W from the second equation. So if I substitute, which is 1.005 into 10 to the power of 3, or you can substitute directly so that I can get in terms of kilojoules. So just now we calculated your T02, which is 473.6 minus T01, which is 300. I may end up with a W value which is equal to 174.46 kilojoules per kg. So this I am going to assume the mass flow rate as 1 kg per second if it's not given. Otherwise, if its mass flow rate is given, I can multiply by mass flow rate, or I can find the mass flow rate, because this is specific work. This is specific work, where for this condition my mass flow rate is 1 kg per second. So if I multiply the corresponding mass flow rate, I will get the power. Okay. Now, also we know that for the radially exiting, that is beta 2 is equal to 90 degrees, we have got already the expression 24.46. So it's kilo 10 to the power of 3 is equal to, so I'll put for U2 square. So U2 will be square root of 3. So if I calculate using my calculator, I will end up with U2 is equal to 417.7 meters per second. So this is the corresponding U2. See, they have given the value of Q. I can find the corresponding density of it. How can I do it? See, inlet they are given, at the inlet they are given PV is equal to RT. So I can calculate the corresponding density, because so PV is equal to M. If I use this PV is equal to MRT equation, or I can use P is equal to, or P small v is equal to RT, and what is my density? Density is equal to 1 upon V. Fine. So what I need to, I can say I know the value of, see, I know the value of P, I know the value of T. So this is P01, so I can use the corresponding, I can find the density. Fine. So what is the value of R? R for air is 287 joules per kg degree Kelvin. If I substitute in this equation, I will end up with rho roughly. So usually this is a regular thing we assume for this thing. We end up with rho is equal to 1.18 or 1.2 meter. You can check it. So roughly, if nothing is given, I can go with the density of air to be 1.12. Now, as they given the discharge to be 10 meter cube per second, I can find the corresponding mass flow rate. What is the mass flow rate equation? Mass flow rate is equal to rho AV. But what is my AV? Which is my Q. So I can write it as, this is not divided by Q. So this is actually rho AV. This is actually Q. So I can write this equation as rho into Q. So m dot is equal to 1.18 into 10. I will end up with mass flow rate as 11.8 kg per second. Fine. Now what is my power? So power, therefore the power requirement for the compressor, the power required P is equal to m dot into your corresponding specific work done, which already we have calculated, is 174.46 kilojoules per kg. So I'll do that. So 11.8 multiplied by 174.46. So I'll directly get the corresponding value of the power in terms of, either it should be 2050. So 11.8 and 174, it is 2050 kilowatts, or I can write it as 2.5 megawatts divided by 1 more thousand if I do. So this kilowatt is just sufficient, or if you want in terms of megawatts also, it's fine. So this is the power requirement for the compressor. This is a very huge compressor. This is the A which we have calculated. What we are supposed to calculate as per the numerical, the power requirement. The second one which you are supposed to calculate is, we have to calculate the diameters. Now, what is my formula to calculate the peripheral velocity is u is equal to pi dn by 60. So if I put for u2, it is pi d2 n by 60. Fine. So from this, I can find your d2 is equal to 60 into u2 divided by pi into n. So just now we have found u2 to be 417.7. This is for the radial exit condition. And n is around 12,000 rpm. Let's substitute for u2 over here. So 60 into 417.7 divided by pi into 12,000. I will end up with d2 as 0.664 meters, or if I multiply by 1000, I will end up with around 664 mm. So this is the outer diameter. What I am getting is outer diameter. But they have given the ratio of the diameters, but they have given the d2 by d1. So d2 by d1 as 2. Then what is my d1? So d1 is equal to d2 by 2. So I can substitute. So this will be 0.664 divided by 2. This will be 0.332 meters or 332 millimeters. So if I go for a design kind of a problem, what we have to do here is actually we have to round up, we have to recalculate everything. But here this is not a design kind of problem. Just we have to calculate what is the corresponding number for that given condition. That's it. We have just calculate and leave it. Okay. Now what is the next one we are supposed to calculate? We are supposed to calculate the corresponding inlet beta angle. Okay. For that actually I need u1 is equal to pi d1 n by 60. So d1 just now we calculated as 0.332, n is 12,000 divided by 60. I am getting my u1 as 208.6 meters per second. Now let's go to the inlet velocity triangle. Let's go to the inlet velocity triangle. There is some connection issue, so yeah, it's back. Okay. Now, if I look at the inlet velocity triangle, what is it actually here? What is my tan beta 1? My tan beta 1, if I take, this is equal to Vf1 by your corresponding u1. So here Vf is equal to Vf1 is equal to Vf2, which is same as 60 meters per second, which is given in the numerical. So just now we calculated a u1. So substitute the value of Vf1 and corresponding u1, take tan inverse of it, you will get the corresponding beta 1. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I will take from the inlet velocity triangle, fine. I will take tan beta 1, which is the blade angle, which is equal to Vf1 divided by u1. So tan beta 1 is equal to 60 divided by 208.6. So beta 1 is tan inverse of it. If I take, I'll be getting roughly beta is equal to 15.98. So roughly around 16 degrees, what I'm going to get. 15.98 you are getting. So I'm getting so I can round it up to 16 degrees. So 16 degrees is my blade angle at the inlet, and the diameter at the outlet is 0.664 and diameter at the inlet is 0.332 and the power is around 2050 kilowatts. So all the parameters which we are supposed to calculate in the given numerical for the given condition. Say only the one assumption what we have made is actually in the numerical. So my entry is radial at the inlet. So alpha 1 is equal to 90 degrees. Suppose for some of the conditions, if suppose this entry at the inlet radial, entry of the fluid at the inlet, if it is not radial, then my VW1 is not 0. Then we have to take the corresponding VW1. So VW1 will have some value. For that, there will be a value of alpha. Alpha will be some number which will be less than 90 degrees. So that is the second case. That's another case. And there may be a case where beta 2 may be not radial at the exit. Beta 2 will be some other number. So beta 2 can be a number less than 90 degrees. So this will be the conditions which you have to consider when solving. Now let us look at the second numerical, which already I have shared. It is there on the tutorial 4 sheet. So let's take that tutorial 2. So the tutorial 2 is the impeller of the centrifugal compressor has the inlet and outlet diameters of 0.3 and 0.6 meters respectively. The intake is from atmosphere at 100 kilopascals and 300 K without any whirl component. The outlet blade angle is 75 degrees. Look at this. Here, my beta 2 is less than 90. The speed is around 10,000 RPM and the velocity of the flow is 120 meters per second. If the blade width at the intake is 60 mm, calculate the specific work, the exit pressure, the mass flow rate, the power required to drive the compressor if the overall efficiency is around 0.7. Fine. So this is the numerical statement. Let's write the data what is given. So solution and the data given. My D1 is, that is inlet diameter or hub diameter, is 0.3 meter and my exit diameter is 0.6 meters, which is D2, and the inlet pressure is 100 kilopascals. T01 is 300 Kelvin and VW1 is equal to 0. Beta 2 at exit is less than 90, so it is an backward curved angle blade. Beta 2 is 90 and N is equal to 10,000 RPM and my VF is 120 meters per second. The blade of the width of the blade is 60 mm, or I can write it as 0.06 meters, and my compressor efficiency is 0.7. What I'm supposed to find? To find A, specific work, that is W by M. The second one is you have to find a corresponding exit pressure, which is P02, and C, which is mass flow rate, and D, the power required to drive the compressor. Okay, and the overall efficiency is 0.7, so everything is given. So whatever I did for the previous problem, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to draw the corresponding TS diagram. So the TS diagram is something like this. This is my T, this is my S, and I can have the corresponding pressure lines which are diverging. They are not parallel. This is P01, this is P02, and this is my isentropic compression from 01 to 02 dash, and my actual compression will be going like this to 02. This is my TS diagram. So similarly, I can write the corresponding velocity triangles also. So suppose this is my T2, this is my D1, this is my D2, this is my D1. So fluid is going from inside to outside. So let's put the blade. The blade is something like this. and it's rotating in this direction. So if I try to put the corresponding VR, so VR will be, so VR is in this direction, the corresponding VR1, the fluid is entering radially, that is radial inlet with VW1 is equal to 0. So this is my V1 is equal to VF1, and I have the corresponding U, which is my U1, this is my alpha 1, this is my beta 1. So what is my exit velocity triangle? Exit velocity triangle will be something like this. Okay, go like this. VR2, fine. So I can draw the corresponding V2 will be like this, fine. And I can close with the corresponding V2, U2, sorry. This is my U2. And I can draw the corresponding VF2 will be like this, which is perpendicular here, VF2, and this is my VW2, and this is my beta 2, this is my alpha 2. So this is the corresponding the velocity triangles for the given conditions. Okay. Now, as already they are given the UI, there is D1 and D2, I can calculate the corresponding peripheral velocities. So, peripheral velocities at inlet and exit, that is at U1 is equal to pi D1 n by 60. So if I substitute, it is pi into 0.3 into 10,000 divided by 60. So if I substitute and calculate, it is 157 meters per second. So similarly at the exit, if I do that, it is U2 is equal to pi d2 n by 60, which is pi into 0.6 into 10,000 divided by 60, which will be double times this actually, which is 340 meters per second. Okay. Now, what is the expression for the work done? So, from the Euler's equation, your W is given by a specific work, that is W by M actually. So, VW2 into U2 minus VW1 into U1, and VW1 is 0, which is given in this triangle, the given numerical. So I don't know the value of VW2. So I can calculate the VW2 from the velocity triangle at the exit. So from the velocity triangle at exit, let's look into that. So from the exit velocity triangle, if I look at it, what is my tan beta 2? Tan beta 2 is equal to VF2 divided by this x. What is this x actually? X is equal to U2 minus VW2, which we already taken. So tan beta 2 is equal to VF2 divided by x. If I substitute, because I know the value of beta 2, which is given in the numerical, which is 75, I know the value of VF. VF1 is equal to the VF2, which is 120, and U2 I know the value, just now we calculated. I don't know the, so only the unknown is VW2. I can calculate the corresponding VW2. So tan beta 2 is equal to VF2 divided by your x. So that is tan beta 2 is equal to VF2 divided by U2 minus VW2. So that is tan 75 is equal to my VF2 is 120, and just now we calculated the value of U2, which is 314 minus VW2, do a little bit of cross multiplication, and so 314 minus VW2 is equal to 120 by tan 75. So VW2, if I take it to the right hand side, so VW2 is equal to 314 minus 120 by tan 75. If I do that and calculate, I'll be getting 282 meters per second. So roughly 281.97 something over there, 282 meters per second is the VW2. Now, if I am going to substitute the VW2 over here, just now I calculated the VW2 and I know the value of U2. So I can calculate the corresponding W. So my specific work, that is W by M, is equal to, so my VW2 is 282 into my U2 is 314. So 282 into 314, it is, I'm getting 88.5 kilojoules per kg. So I got the corresponding specific work as 88.5 kilojoules per kg. And next thing is I need to calculate the corresponding pressure. So if I want to calculate the pressure, let's use the compressor efficiency, which is given as 0.7. So what is it actually? It is the ideal compression to actual compression. So MCP into T02 dash minus T01 divided by T02 minus T0. So MCP just cancel out. I'm going to write the same thing in terms of only temperature. That is, it will be T02 dash minus T01 divided by T02 minus T01. Okay. So I know the value of corresponding compressor efficiency is 0.7. I need to calculate, say here I know the value of T01, which is 300 degree Kelvin. I don't know the value of T02 dash, I never don't know the value of 302. So what I will do, what is it actually? I have the expression W by M is also equal to your Cp into T02 minus T01. So here it is 88.5 into 10 to the power of 3 is equal to, it is 1.005 into 10 to the power of 3 into T02 minus 300. If I do that, I will be getting corresponding 302. So I will be getting the corresponding 302 as, if I do that, it's around 388 Kelvin. So this particular temperature I can substitute over here and calculate the corresponding missing 302 dash. So this is 0.7 and T02 dash is suppose I need to calculate. My 301 is already given as an input in the numerical 300 degree Kelvin, and T02 is 388 minus 300. Just do the calculation. 0.7 into 388 minus 300 is 88. 88 into 0.7. Fine. So will be UT02 dash will be 300 plus 0.7 into 88. If I do that, I'll be getting the cross multiplication. If I do it, I'll be getting the 302 dash as 361.6 Kelvin, and this is less than your T02. You can verify it on your corresponding TS diagram. Now, for an isentropic process, we know that for an isentropic process, we know that T02 dash by T01 is equal to T02 by T01 whole to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma. So I'm taking gamma is equal to 1.4 for air. So what I don't know here, I don't know the value of P02. So just I'll do, so it is P02 by P01 is equal to T02 dash by T01 whole to the power of gamma by gamma minus 1, or my P02 is equal to P01 into T02 dash by T01 whole to the power of gamma by gamma minus 1. If I substitute, now let's substitute all the values. This is 100 kilopascals into my T02 dash, just now we calculated, is 361.6 divided by T01 is 300 whole to the power of 1.4 divided by 1.4 minus 1. So if I substitute everything and put it in my calculator, so I'm getting around 191.96, which is 192 kilopascals. 192 kilopascals. This is my P02. The next thing I need to calculate is the corresponding mass flow rate. So we know that the discharge is given by along the flow direction. It's not on the cross section, on the flow direction. Pi into D1 into B1 into VF1, which is also equal to pi into D2 into B2 into BF2. So here they have given the value of B1. So B1 is 60 mm or 0.06, and they have here we know the value of VF, which is 120. So I can directly calculate the Q just by substituting all the values, because all the values I know. So D1 is 0.3. So D pi into 0.3 into 0.06 into VF. So VF1 is equal to VF2, which is equal to 120 meters per second, which remains constant. So I substitute everything. So I'll be getting the corresponding value of Q. So I substitute in my calculator and calculate. So I'm getting around 6.78 meter cube per second. And just similarly, I think in the previous problem also I told that for a pressure of 100 kilopascals and a temperature of 300 Kelvin, using the PV is equal to MRT equation. So using the equation of a state, if I calculate, so we got the value of rho. See, we got the value of rho is equal to 1.18 from PV is equal to, if I take V is the small specific volume, PV is equal to RT equation, and rho is equal to 1 upon specific volume. So from this, I can get the corresponding rho as 1.18 kg per meter cube. I can use the same thing and find the mass flow rate. So your mass flow rate is actually rho into Q, which is 1.18 into 6.78. If I substitute in my calculator, I am roughly getting around 8 meter cube, 8 kg per second. 8 kg per second is the value I am getting mass flow rate. Now, what is the power required? So, power required is actually your mass flow rate into your corresponding W, that is specific work actually. So, this is 8 into 88.5 kilojoules per kg. This is W by M. If I do that, this is 708 kilowatts. So the power requirement is 708 kilowatts, and mass flow rate is 8 kg per second. Fine. And my pressure is around 192 kilopascals, and the corresponding, what else? Yeah, your corresponding specific work is around 88.5 kilojoules per, so 88 kilojoules per kg. So I got all the 4 unknowns for a condition where my beta 2 is less than 90 degrees, which is 75 degrees. Maybe in the numericals. So in the numericals, if I look at it, so these are the conditions what we may get it. And I have the next problem, the third problem I want you people to try. So where my beta 2, so beta 2, if suppose what will happen, beta 2 is equal to 90 degrees, what will happen if there is a slip condition? So if there is a slip condition, what will happen? And you have to calculate the corresponding slip. So those things you have to find actually. That's the condition what I given in the third problem. If everything is clear, I think we can go to the third problem. If there are any clarifications means for the first two problems, I can take up. Any clarifications? If there are no clarifications, I will go to the next problem. Right. Okay. Let's move to the next problem. A centrifugal compressor runs at 15,000 RPM and produces a stagnation pressure ratio of 4 between the impeller inlet and outlet. The stagnation conditions of air at the intake are 100 kilopascals and 300 Kelvin. The absolute velocity of the compressor intake is without any whirl component. At the exit of the impeller, the flow component of the velocity is 135 meters per second and the blades are radial. The total to total efficiency is 0.78. Draw the velocity triangles and find the blade angles at the inlet. Also, compute the slip and slip coefficient. Take the exit rotor diameter as 0.58 and inlet rotor diameter as 0.25. So this is what is given in the numerical. Let's try to solve it. So let's write the data what is given in the numerical. So they have given the speed as 15,000 RPM and the pressure ratio which is P02 by P01 is equal to 4 and my P01 is equal to 100 kilopascals and T01 is 300 Kelvin and my VW1 is equal to 0 and VF2 is equal to 135 meters per second and the total efficiency or compressor efficiency is 0.78. D2 is equal to 0.58 meters and D1 is equal to 0.25 meters. What are we supposed to find? We are supposed to find A, which is the blade angles at the inlet, which is theta 1, and B, we are supposed to calculate the slip and the slip coefficient. That is sigma and phi. If you look at it, I think already we have defined sigma is the difference in the slip and phi is the slip coefficient. And for this, they are given the condition that is beta 2 is equal to 90 degrees. That is, it is radial at the exit. So anyhow, already you know the corresponding TS diagram. It remains the same. So let's write the corresponding same TS diagram. Can use the same TS diagram for this also. But here my velocity triangles are going to change a little bit because even though the first condition is very similar to the problem where beta 2 is equal to 180, but because of the slip, what will happen? It's what we have to look into. So if I try to put the corresponding velocity triangles for this, it's very similar to the first problem. It's something like this. So this is my YouTube. Okay. So I have the corresponding velocity triangles, you look at it. So what is it actually? I have my V2, Vf2, everything. So what will happen? What is the biggest change we can see here in this case of we have a slip in this particular problem is, see my beta, see my velocity triangle, the modified velocity, actual velocity triangle will change something like this, what I am drawing in the dotted line. So what will happen? This will be my beta 2 dash, and I could see my EW2 dash is going to change something like this. Fine. So the earlier condition U2 was equal to VW2. But the second condition, what will happen? Because of the corresponding slip, this is alpha 2 dash, because of this particular slip actually, there will be a reduction in my, your BW2 dash will be less than your VW2. So what's going to happen here? So as I told, here the fluid will start moving in this direction because there will be a little bit of recirculation zones which are set up at the exit of my compressor. So because of that actually my whirl velocity will start reducing, and my VW2 dash will be less than your VW2, and instead of fluid exiting radially, it will take a deviation and it will exit at some other angle, which is beta 2 dash. Fine. This is how the modified velocity triangle will look like for this condition, where I am going to calculate the corresponding slip actually. Now, other conditions are almost the same, very similar to what we have solved in my previous problem. So that is, so for an isentropic compression condition, so we have T naught 2 dash by T naught 1 is equal to P naught 2 by P naught 1 is equal to gamma minus 1 by gamma. So I need to know the value of T naught 2 dash. So T naught 2 dash is equal to T naught 1 into P naught 2 dash by P naught 1 whole to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma. So here gamma is equal to 1.4 and P naught 2 dash by P naught 1 is 4. I can go with 300 into 4 to the power of 1.4 minus 1 divided by 1.4. So this is my T naught 2 dash, which is 445.8 Kelvin. This is my T naught 2 dash. And I know my compressor efficiency, which is T naught 2 dash minus T naught 1 divided by T naught 2 minus T naught 1. So which is 0.78 is equal to 445.8 minus 300 divided by T naught 2 minus 300. I can get my T naught 2 is equal to 486.92 Kelvin, and this value is greater than your T naught 2 dash as per your TS standard. Now, what are my, once you have calculated the corresponding temperatures, so let's try to calculate the peripheral velocity, because they have given the value of my D1 and D2. So peripheral or peripheral velocities at inlet and exit, that is U1 is equal to pi D1 n by 60 is equal to pi into 0.25 into 15,000 divided by 60, which we got put in the calculator, which is 196.35 meters per second. Similarly, the peripheral velocity at the exit, which is pi d2 n by 60, which is equal to pi into 0.58 into 15,000 divided by 60, which is equal to 455.5 meters per second. In the previous cases, you've seen that D2 was twice that of your D1, but in this case here, D2 is not equal, this is not a twice or something, it is more than 2. So 0.25 and 0.58. So that's why I'm going to get a difference between your U2 and U1. Okay. Now, already we have seen, so inlet velocity triangle remain the same. So from the inlet velocity triangle, tan beta 1 is equal to your corresponding Vf1 by U1. So what is the value of Vf1? Vf1 is actually, it is the flow component velocities remain the same. So Vf1 and Vf2 both are same. So it is 135 meters per second. So tan beta 1 is equal to 135. Vf1 is equal to Vf2. So this is the condition prevails until unless it prevails, until unless they give that what is the corresponding reduction in the flow velocity because of the friction or something. So 135 divided by your corresponding U1, which is 196.35. Take tan inverse of it. I'm going to get by beta 1, which is 34.5 degrees. So I can calculate the corresponding actual work done, which is W is equal to, or specific work is equal to W by M is equal to Cp into T02 by T01. So here you have to wait carefully here, which is equal to VW2 dash into U2, because VW2 dash is for actual wall velocity and VW2 is the theoretical wall velocity for this condition, because they are trying to calculate the with respect to SIP. So if I take Cp value as 1.005, if I do that into T02 is 486.92 minus 300, if I do that, I may end up with my W by M, which is specific work as 187.8 kilojoules per kg, and this particular thing W by M dot is equal to VW2 dash into U2, that is 187.8 into 10 to the power of 3 is equal to VW2 dash into, what is my U2? So U2 just now we calculated is 455.5. So 455.5, I'll be getting my VW2 dash, which is equal to 412.4 meters per second. See, what is for a radial exit condition? This is for actual. See, this VW2 dash is the actual. Fine. For a radial exit condition, for a radial exit condition, VW2 is equal to U2, which is 455.5 meters per second. So we have seen beta, when beta 2 is equal to 90 degrees, my VW2 and U2 both are same. So what is my slip? Slip sigma is equal to VW2 minus VW2 dash, which is equal to 455.5 minus 412.4. If I take the difference of it, is around 43.1 meters per second. This is my slip actually. Then what is the slip coefficient? So slip coefficient is 5. So slip coefficient phi is equal to VW2 minus VW2 dash by VW2. If I substitute the values for that, so what I'm going to get actually, it is 455.5 minus 412.4 divided by 455.5, and if I calculate, so it is, my slip coefficient is around 43.1 divided by 455 is around 0.09 or 0.1, clear, around 0.1. Fine. So this is about your corresponding value of your slip and slip coefficient. How to calculate the discharge? So because we need to calculate the power. So the third one, I need to calculate the power. So if I want to calculate the power, so I need to know the corresponding Q. So Q is equal to your phi D1 B1 into Vf is equal to phi D2 B2 into Vf2. So in the numerical, they are not given the value of B. So usually when you are designing it, actually we assume something and we try to optimize it. Otherwise, we can calculate we can assume B1 and B2 is equal to roughly around 10, 20 or 30 mm or whatever it may be. If you assume roughly around, if I take the value of my B is equal to around 50 mm, if I take 50 mm, that is around 0.05 meters. This is an assumption. So if in the design problems, we try to assume something and we try to optimize it. So if I do that, I know the value of D1. So pi into my D1 is around 0.25 meters and 0.05 into 135. So I am going to get my Q, which is, if I substitute from my calculator, which is around 5.3 meter cube per second. And so already for the given condition, so rho is equal to 1.18 kg per meter cube, which we already have calculated using equation PV is equal to RT. Fine, from this if I calculate rho is equal to 1.18, I can get, or if nothing is given, I can go with, if nothing is given, I can go with rho is equal to 1.2 also. There will be a slight difference actually, 1.18 into corresponding. So if what will be a mass flow rate? Your mass flow rate is equal to rho into Q, which is 1.18 into 5.3, which is around 6.34, which is around 6.34 kg per second. Then what is my power? Which is your mass flow rate into your specific work, which is 6.34 into 187.85 kilojoules. So I'm going to get, so roughly this is around 1 or 1194 point some change. So 1298, so 1195 kilowatts. So this is my power, what I'm going to get for. So here, the only difference from the previous two problems, what we looked in was to calculation of your corresponding slip, where my slip VW2 dash is much smaller than your corresponding theoretical, which is VW2. If you want, you can try with the fourth problems also. So remaining, I think I have put in that numerical sheet. We have n number of unsolved numericals. I have in that. So I have around 18 numericals, I think. Yeah. Already it is there uploaded on the Google Classroom. You can just go through that and you can solve as much as problem. So I have around 15 numericals. All variety problems are there. Only with respect to centrifugal compressors, I know that I can't solve all the problems. So I'm just taking up for 1, 2, 3, 3 numericals, and you can, if you have any difficulties, you can just post it on the Google Classroom, we can discuss on it. Okay, fine. If you have any doubts, we can discuss. If there are no doubts, I think we can wind up for today, and we will meet on Thursday. Thank you. So whoever is switch on that recording now, you can just close that recording. Thank you very much.